Welcome. On this channel, I do unscripted, unedited videos about Linux programming and stuff. I am primarily working on a little mini MMO learning project called Space Captain. You can find more details in the links in the show notes. I have been recently been working on updating a Q module, refactoring that code with Claude. So I think clear was the last thing I did there. Currently, I asked it to generate kind of a review of the code in this module. It has provided us with some suggestions. This is actually the second round. And then I'm going to do it again with the test file. The idea is to really nail it down. So the part we're improving now is the error handling, making it a little more better. I'm going to combine. I'm going to combine all of these into one prompt, and I'm going to do it like so. I'm going to say, please generate. Please propose changes in source q.c2. Do this, and this, because these changes kind of all I'm not exactly even sure what it means by that sentence, but it gave it to me, so I'm going to give it back. Please propose changes in source q.c to replace assertions with proper error handling for production code, implement error no style error reporting for consistency, and add proper error propagation. So, and right now we have it, we're only asking it to propose those changes, so it's giving us something to review. I'm actually getting pretty close to having this really cleaned up and locked down. Somewhere down the road, I'm going to want to benchmark it, but not now. I'll move on. Before we move on, though, I am going to spend a little bit of time refactoring the tests to make sure that they're just kind of consistent across all the tests. No excessive duplication and things like that. I have to say that I am incredibly impressed with writing code with Claude on the Opus model. To tell you the truth, I don't really notice. Why can't I think of the other model's name? I really don't. I'm not sure that I noticed between the two, to tell you the truth. Okay, so what do we got going here? So it added add additional error codes, right? So it added okay, add a thread local error variable. Thread local error variable for Q operations. Function to get last Q error. Function to clear Q error. Function to get error string. Okay, that's exactly what I want. To be set up this way. This is generally the theme with which I want to handle errors across my code base. Here are the key changes for each function. So, So I see it. Okay, so it starts out by assuming success and then sets the appropriate values. Okay. Generally seeing the exact same thing all the way through looks really good. It'll be more interesting to see what happens with the tests, I think, than anything else. Q try and assume success, bunch of error messages. I really like this code, shaping up nicely. Truly better than I would have written by myself. Even not only better than I would have written myself, but written about 20 times faster than I would have written it myself, or 30 times. I mean, it's significantly speeds me up. Qpop, Qtry needs signature changes to return int and use output parameter. Did it do that? And can I use? Nope, I can't. So Qpop. See if we can find it here. There's try-pop. Qpop. It got a signature change, right? Yep, because... Yep. Okay, so it actually did do those things. Add return value retrieval. Replace all assert calls with proper null. Add mutex lock for checking. This approach provides consistent, proper, human readable... Okay. Would you like me to implement these changes? Not just yet. Propose the necessary changes. Propose the necessary changes to propose the update for test q tests.c required to support the changes in source queues. Q.c. Propose the update. Propose the changes. I'm trying to limit it to those two. Propose the changes. Actually, I don't need to limit it to those two files because propose the changes required to support the propose the Okay, propose test updates. Propose the test updates required to support the changes described above. Wow, that took me forever to type. I mean, the slowdown wasn't in the typing; it was in the thinking, obviously. Qpop and Qtry-pop, Qdestroy are the three functions that have signature changes. I don't know how various different languages, I would assume that the quality of the suggestions and whatnot correspond to the volume of material on the internet for a particular programming language. So for example, I would imagine, C being the oldest language known to mankind, not really, I know, it has nearly infinite amount of information out there, whereas if I jump over to Zig or something, I would assume that it has significantly less to work with. I would think that must result in a bit of a decrease in kind of its general ability to problem solve in that space. you know, because it's not really problem solving. It's just suggesting something that seems to flow the right way. What do we got going here? So new API tests, that's for the new stuff. Those, it's only updating. Okay, so it's certainly trying to use, you know, it did an update for the tripop. Okay, so we're gonna, this is a comprehensive test upgrade, so I'm gonna say apply all proposed changes and verify that all tests pass. This will probably take it a little while. These are, this isn't an insignificant refactor. It's kind of a fairly methodical one that a human wouldn't have too much problem with, but it's certainly not insignificant. Now let me update QC. So I read through most of the actual Q.C changes. They're pretty straightforward, and I was pretty happy with how they were formatted. One of the things we'll have to check is it has a problem with leaving trailing white space. I don't really understand. After it makes these changes and they're running, I want to check on that, see if it's still doing it. We tried to, I tried to prompt it out by including instructions for it in the Claude.md file, in the memory file. So I got rid of the, yeah. So updating QPOP and other functions. So roughly speaking, I mean, although I'm only really focusing on just the networking layer of the game right now, the idea behind the game is a little bit like, do you want to make this edit to the queue? Yeah, looks like it's consistently doing its thing. Is that you're a captain of a spaceship sitting in the command chair and issuing commands. It's essentially a little bit like an EVE Online type game. So you got the full, the idea would be that you would have the full spectrum of, you know, resource gathering, trading, manufacturing, but the one of the things that I really want to add is kind of this dwarf fortress element of having that you would have a crew of the ship that you would have to manage, that they would all be very individualistic and a little bit of a Sims element to it, right? They have a history and preferences, and things happen to them, and the missions that you go on can scar them, and these types of things. Their behavior and effectiveness in whatever role you assign them, in whatever shift rotations they're in, and all these types of things will have a significant impact on how they perform for you. Do you want to make this change? So we're in client.c. Yes. Client.c has a real small, hey, let's just test that we can push create a queue, put a message on it, pop it off, and use it. And other than that, the only use of the queue is in the queue tests class or class file. You can tell that I've been living in a world of Ruby for dozens of years. I like the word. My brain likes the word methods and class, and they're all the wrong words. I know what I'm trying to say. Okay, filling some airspace. Why C? Because I'm more interested in, eventually, more interested in the Linux systems programming part and truly optimizing the memory management for performance way down the road. That's really interesting to me. Yes, Zig would look like a good target also. Do you want to create the Q-test? Not really. Okay, I'm going to let it do its thing, but I'm confused right now. We didn't maintain reverse compatibility, so is it going to ask to remove? Now we're going to go with 3. Update. Burn-in tokens. Oh, we're going to go through this loop again. I hope it's a little briefer. We're getting pretty darn... What do we get going on? Top, pop, test. Oh yeah, okay. I think we're. I'm gonna make it fix its own problem. So we're. If I was wrong there. Yeah, we're definitely burning tokens here. I mean, each one of these is adding another 2K tokens to the... do you want to make this edit? This edit is... Yes. Doesn't all seems in line. I would miss any really nuanced error there, but the general theme of what it's trying to do, I'm sure, is right. This is equivalent to a looks good to me code review. Because I'm going to make it fix the problems if it turns out it don't work. So it doesn't work. Yeah. But we shouldn't have... this is going to be the biggest refactor right here. Updating how it's error handling and the signatures of these methods. I don't believe that there are any other changes that I would do coming up here shortly that would involve modifying the signatures of these methods. And if I do, I'm going to be modifying like 1. And in fact, even if I had a suggestion for modifying something like this where it needed to modify a few of them, I would probably for sure break it down and do 1 at a time. Make a smaller scope. Now, what will really stink is if, like, 4 or 5 months from now, I realize there's some really subtle deadlock in here. It'd be hard for me to find. I mean, it'd be an interesting challenge, but at first I don't see how it could be in here, given the way the code structure. But if it did, do you want to make? Yes, I do. So we're updating Q triad. Yeah, we're pushing the token count up. I'm fairly positive when we see it count up, that's just another 5.3 that we're adding to the context. And so all of those other ones were added into the context. So we're somewhere in the 50,000 range spent right now or more. Maybe much higher, actually. I forget how many times I've watched this go by. Yeah, so that was all the new ones. So it looks like we first updated the old ones, now we added the new ones. I mean, we should be up in the range of 40 or 45 tests, I think. Yes. I mean, we just added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus that must be 18 or so that we're just adding now. A little bit more, maybe 19 or something. I didn't count them that quick. Anyway, so kind of talking about the game again, the idea is, you pull a ship into port, and you're going to have to give the crew leave and stuff, and you're going to end up with your version of a drunken dwarf that has hung over the next day, or maybe they end up in jail. I mean, that's kind of the idea of the game, is it's going to go way out there on top of all the normal things that you do in an Eve-like game, the trading, the resource management, or the resource gathering. What do we got? Void, QT, so we're removing. So that's how they're dealing with an unused parameter. So this was a pretty healthy little change that we're getting done here. And this was one I really wanted. I mean, so looks like, 50 tests. Propose a git commit message. Just a little double check to make sure it's really all passing. Just want to see this finish here. Looks good. Okay. It forgot its attribution line again. Add a single line attribution for Claude as the co-author. Co-authored by, there we go. Refactor, replace all assert calls, implement error no style, add the new error codes, update the API signatures for those methods, add comprehensive null, parameter checking, update client C. Okay, apply the proposed commit. "503 lines added, 93 lines removed, 4 files modified." So clear, git status, git log, so big refactor, git push GitHub main. And I think, here, let's take a look. We just, we did all of that, right? So we improved all the error handling. I'm not doing that. Implement QPeek function to inspect head without removing it. I don't think I have any need for it. I can do it later if I ever need it. Add queue clear function to empty the queue without destroying it. I don't think I have any need for that. Return bool instead of int for Boolean functions. I may do that. Consider adding queue add with timeout. Yeah, no, that's, it keeps suggesting that, but I don't need it. Fix const correctness issues in queue is empty, queue is full, and queue get size. Consider implementing a reader writer locks. And I bet that this would make a difference down the road in performance. Add memory barriers for atomic operations where appropriate. Review the, and again, probably certainly would make performance issues down the road, improve performance issues down the road. Review and document thread safety guarantees. Memory management and parameter validation before assertions. Use catalog for 0. Move timeout constants to header file. Okay, so there's a bunch of things in here that I think I still want to revisit. I want to whittle this down to the point where it's suggesting things I have no intention of doing. And there are things in here that definitely are still worth looking at. So in the next video, we'll be whittling away at our queue the queue module improvement. I'll see you guys there.